Okay, what we have here is a 2010 Grand Caravan that I'm trying to do the rear trailing arm bushings for the axle beam on each side. Basically, it's where this trailing arm connects to the bracket on here. You do not have to remove the brackets, but if you drop down the bolts, you will have to take off the calipers and stuff, and the parking brake cables and stuff. I used these pliers here to squeeze the parking brake cable things to push them through after I removed the 13mm nut and knocked this thing off to disconnect the end of this from the lever on each side, and then I undid the parking brake cables. I didn't know how far it's going to come down. I got new brake hoses coming from here. You could see the brake hose. I don't know, this one's chafed and in bad shape. I got new calipers. It was rattling in the back over bumps, as well as the clunking, and the pins were freed up. At one time they were frozen. I told her you're gonna need calipers, but pads were wearing crooked and stuff, but they're all sloppy now. So it needs a new caliper brackets and calipers, so I got new ones off Amazon. I got a pair of them for like $118. And then I have free shipping or whatever because I got the Prime or whatever. Now to get them out, I used the Harbor Freight front wheel. It's called the forward front wheel bearing adapter set. It's got a bunch of adapters. You need that. Yeah, most of them are out, but it's got a thing that you can do the front wheel bearings, press them in and out on the car. I bought that a long time ago. And then you need something from a ball joint, OTC ball joint kit. You need one of the adapters when you press it in. So basically, press it out. You start with something that covers the can cover the outside, and press well, you got to press it from this side. You got to press it from the inside out. So, and then this is the receiver on this side, so it's got to go through and press out. So yeah, I'm sure there's a Miller special tool, but that's my Miller special tool for every job. And then especially Chryslers. And then basically when you get this thing pushed through, basically I took a rotary file. It's like called a carving bit. I actually broke it, but it's very small diameter, and I use that to clean caliper brackets and everything. It's very small, and I just removed as much rust as I could from the outer diameter before I pressed it out. And when you press this thing in, I don't know, it's like about 3/4 of an inch here to here, and maybe 5/8 of an inch. You just make a note of how it was on each side. This does not get pressed in all the way to the arm. It's centered kind of in the arm. And basically, to press it in, there's like an OTC ball joint adapter that I used in a bearing race I had laying around that matches the you know, the size of this to the outside here. And then the receiver part, I still use, you know, this thing on the other side with the 1/2-inch rod I got from Menards with some nuts and washers for each side. I get the heavy duty nuts with the 7/8 size versus the standard ones that are you know, just 3/4 inch diameter. You get the heavy duty 1/2-inch 13 nuts, and then that presses it in. And you know, before I put the thing on, I had problems with it didn't want to go in straight, so the leading edge, I took the bench grinder and I just like took just a little bit off around, all the way around, so I could just get it started in there. And then you know, I use some fluid film lube or whatever on it. And oh, another thing is you could throw them in the freezer and it'll shrink it down to a little bit smaller diameter. And then you put the adapter on there and tap it, start it with the hammer just a little bit, and then you could you know, make sure it's centered in there. And then you use a 1/2-inch rod with this bullshit on here, and then you can pull it in. Actually, I think you can pull it in with the nut on each side. But anyway, on the side that still had the bushing, or the, you know, the metal sleeve in, is I put a vice grip on the middle part, and I put the torch through, heated up the sleeve, and it melted the rubber around this hot sleeve, and then I pulled it out. But I kept it off to the front because I didn't want it hanging down and we're reaching down and then have any molten rubber drop on you. And of course you need something for in case a little fire starts. So I just have like some soap water for evap test, but you know, if you catch it early enough, that's all you need is a little heavy duty, you know, spray bottle, and you know, have your fire extinguisher and stuff. Wear your safety glasses, but you do have to make sure you got your calipers off before you start doing it, because this thing kind of does go forward a little bit. You can see it goes, and then you got to pry down on these, and you got to put like I put like a pry bar or something in between. You know, they got a couple pry bars on in between there that got it in. But on the other side, I pressed it in, and yeah, I just took just a little bit off the leading edge on the bench grinder, because the thing with this bullshit 1/2-inch thing, it's not as good as a ball joint press. It's kind of hard to keep it centered real good. So I just take it on the bench grinder over here. Just the leading edge. You just want to get, you know, I need both hands to do this, but you just take a little bit off, just so you can get it started, and you got a better chance of it going in straight. So that's my tips for today for working on this thing. Hopefully it saves somebody some some aggravation and time. It's not something that you probably want to do if you're not a mechanic. You probably want to have somebody do it for you. I got new rotors coming for this, and I already got new calipers, but I'm waiting for the brake hoses. And I do have new shocks, Monroe-matic Pluses. And a word of caution is you do have to, before you take this apart, jack it up from the beam here before you take the bolts out and stuff, and move the stands forward enough on the pinch weld to give you room to work. If it's not solid enough to put the stands forward on the pinch welds or whatever, then you might need to take the shocks off and everything, and support it from there. But you gotta have the stand somewhere other than the brackets, because normally when I lift these things, I don't trust the fucking pinch welds. I usually have them on the brackets when I put the stands, and luckily this thing is still solid enough to support here. And because I had to move the stands more forward to get the room to work here, I didn't really trust if it was going to have rear weight bias, then it might shift or something, go rearward. But just in case the pinch welds were to fail or something, I just have an emergency stand under the bumper reinforcement with a 4x6 block and some cardboard under there to hold it in place. So in case one side were to start dropping down, I have some support in the middle there by that stand in the back. But the stand wasn't high enough to reach the bumper support, so I had to put like a 4x6 piece of wood under there. And so I don't know, hopefully this can save somebody some aggravation. I was pretty aggravated. I kept having that thing cocked, and when I was trying to press it in, it's like didn't want to stay centered. So, but just taking like a quarter, the first quarter inch, just take a little bit of metal off, taper it a little bit, and then you can get it in to use your hammer or whatever. If it starts going a little crooked, then you can back off on it, take the hammer, and then you get a better chance of having it get centered, and press it in. So hopefully the press fits hold, and it doesn't start doing the mambo side to side after losing the press fit. But it's a turd, and it's got to be done. So good luck to you guys.